Welcome back to the channel, guys. Today we've got the 18th episode of my top 10 setups of the day. Before we get started, make sure you like the video and subscribe to the channel to see more of these amazing setups. In 10th place, starting our list off simple, we've got this setup from Mike Not Michael, who's got their setup going in a small closet. Their floating monitor is a Samsung Odyssey G7 monitor, which is certainly a decent sized and fairly priced high quality monitor for such a small space. Below that, we've got a cyberpunk themed Razer Ultimate mouse resting on a cyberpunk mousepad. I would have loved to see some customization on the keyboard, be it either a yellow case or some keycaps that match with the cyberpunk theme. I would also be interested in seeing a little bit more decoration done possibly on the walls, or maybe in the form of a small figurine or two near the monitor to make the closed space seem more permanent and lived in. Keeping with the theme of simplistic, budget-friendly builds, this one from YUNGESPY really goes to show that you don't need to have an expensive desk, decorations or fancy RGB lights to have an amazing and functional setup. They've got a dual monitor setup, both of which appears to be the stands that the monitors came with. Below that is a Razer keyboard and a nice Logitech mouse. All of this tech is sitting on a simple and cheap looking table, which honestly would look basically indistinguishable from a fancy desk if the OP added a nice tablecloth over it. For cable management, you can see the absolutely genius idea of using an old paper towel roll to keep everything organised, and for a PC stand they're repurposing some bedside nightstands. Overall, this is a fantastic budget setup, and I'm excited to see how it evolves over time. Up next, we've got another super simple and clean setup from Kenny7, who's managed to fit this sweet setup into a really tight space. For monitors, they've got two decently large 24-inch Dell P2421 DC monitors that have been mounted on a Bondtech monitor arm, as well as a Dell XPS 13 laptop. Keeping the two large monitors up off the desk helps keep the desk from feeling too cluttered and maximises the small desk space. Speaking of the desk, they've got a very nice combination of an IKEA Helmer desktop with an O-Logs legs and drawers. At number 7, we've got a setup from Mitchenzo, who's got a deceptively budget orientated build. That gorgeous wood desk is a worktop from Amazon with cherry tree drawers, also from Amazon, which stands as a cheaper alternative to the classic Calby/Alex drawers combo from IKEA. On top of that is an Asus Turf 1440p 165Hz monitor and a Drivo Excalibur keyboard in cherry red. Whilst he currently has a GXT mousepad and a GXT mouse, the OP has stated that they're currently waiting for a wireless mouse. As a nice flex in the corner, you can see that PS5 doubling as a headphone stand for the Logitech G433 headset. Whilst this setup already looks fantastic, it would be even better with some more focused lighting in the form of some hue play bars, LEDs or even a simple lamp. Our next setup comes to us from PEKSTROM with its minimalist and modern aesthetic. Their desk is obviously a super bright white, which helps deepen the contrast between it and their peripherals. For a keyboard, they've got a Keychron K2 keyboard with a gorgeous wooden Keychron wrist rest, which adds a very satisfying pop of warm brown on top of that black Satechi Deskmate mousepad. Above that, you can see an LG 35WN75C monitor with a beautiful wallpaper, and below that we've got a Mac Mini M1. Whilst the colour and decoration here are super minimal, I think that the brightness of this setup totally works and is a nice change from the dark RGB heavy setups that we normally see. Approaching the halfway mark on our list, we've got this super cozy and warm setup from YOXANGETYOURBOYDAWG. First and foremost, we've got those two huge monitors with an ultra-wide Samsung 43-inch CJ890 on the bottom, and then they've got a 27-inch LG 27UK 650 monitor on top. And both monitors are mounted to a Vivo V002R monitor stand. Despite how large these monitors are, there's still plenty of room for that beautiful 6-foot redwood Calby desk with a KTRI extended mousepad and a Microsoft Surface keyboard. At number 4, we've got the first super colourful and RGB heavy setup on our list. For more of a unique desk look, they've got an IKEA Calby desktop, but it's mounted to a set of autonomous legs. On top of that, we've got a Keychron K8 keyboard with brown optical switches, a Logitech MX Master mouse, and a dual monitor setup on an ear-gear dual monitor mount. Although it's partially in the dark, you can make out the form of a Staples chair as well. I really like how even though there is a lot of RGB here, it's done in a soft way which bounces off the walls and keeps your eyes from straining too much. Coming up next, we've got a nice and colourful setup from JOEKW. For a desk, they've got the classic IKEA combination of the Calby desktop with the Alex drawers. We've got a very cool keyboard with a Ducky 1-2 mini keyboard with DSA Vile Bloom keycaps and amazing custom Pokemon keycaps. Their keyboard, as well as what appears to be a Logitech mouse sitting on a very pretty navy Cat Atlantis desk mat. My favourite thing about this setup is how fantastic and bright all of the various pastel colours are. To start off our number 2 spot from user ASIANSEA, we've got a very large, dull, ultra-sharp U33415W monitor, which is backed by 2 Hue play bars which give off an amazing red and orange glow. They've got a Dell ultra-sharp U3415W monitor on an OM monitor arm, and below that is a HHKB Pro 2 keyboard, a SteelSeries mouse and mousepad, as well as some KRK Rokit 5 G4 speakers. For decoration, you can find an adorable IKEA Scardis pegboard, with the pegboard briefcase holder doubling as a headset stand. Despite this being a relatively small space, the OP has really made the most of it with great use of walls for decoration and lighting. Last but certainly not least is this super unique build from KILLCRY, who's got one of the best views from his build that we've seen on these lists. They've got a triple monitor setup, with a Dell and Samsung monitor as their horizontal monitors. Below that we can see a Logitech keyboard and what looks like a Logitech mouse. The combination of the blue LEDs and the industrial room and scenery gives this setup a fantastic cyberpunk vibe without being too reliant on flashy peripherals or RGB. And that is the end of today's list. Check out the description for a list of a lot of the gears that I mentioned in the video. If you want to see more of these incredible setups, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe with notifications on so you don't miss the next episode. Leave a comment down below on which setup you think should have been number 1.